Tired? Yeah. Take a rest. November 16th.
November 16th, huh?
Islam Makhachev didn't hold back when he declared that Jack Della Maddalena is cooked, warning that their upcoming fight could mark the end of JDM's rise. Confident in his dominance, Makhachev believes his skill set will simply be too much for the Australian to handle, leaving fans eager to see how it plays out. Meanwhile, analyst Nick Barnhill weighed in on how the fight was announced, noting it wasn't a surprise after earlier rumors began circulating. He explained that while some blamed Khabib Nurmagomedov for leaking the matchup, his word carries weight, and once it spread, Dana White moved quickly to put together a stacked card.
I love that they made this fight, and of course they leaked it a little while ago. It was Khabib that was getting blamed for the leak, but we know Khabib is a man of his word, so we were sure that this fight was going to be made and announced pretty soon. Dana White went ahead and did it, and look, he stacked this card. And one thing I really do like about not just the co-main event, but the feature bout, Carlos Prates was in there not that long ago, and he's right back in the mix, which tells you exactly where they see his future and where his potential is. But what's really interesting is he's getting two really important things. He's getting a former champion in Leon Edwards, and he's also getting a 3-round feature bout, but against a former champion. So it's a great position, especially for a guy who thrives in 3-round atmosphere.
Barnhill then turned his focus to the co-main and main event. He pointed out that Carlos Prates taking on former champion Leon Edwards in a 3-round fight is an ideal matchup that plays perfectly into Prates' style. Shifting back to the headliner, Barnhill highlighted Jack Della Maddalena's impressive win over Belal Muhammad. While many had doubts at the time, Barnhill argued that JDM's striking ability could finally be the test that pushes Islam Makhachev into a truly competitive fight. On the other side, Islam Makhachev has vowed to take Jack Della Maddalena's belt, but also hinted he may slow down once the job is finished. The champion admitted the fight will demand everything from him, yet made it clear he already has a timeline in mind. His message was brief but confident: handle business first, then take the time to recover before deciding on his next move.
Tired? Yeah. Take a rest. November 16th.
November 16th, huh?
Adding to the discussion, Adam Catterall and Nick Pete broke down why Islam Makhachev versus Jack Della Maddalena makes sense as a true champion versus champion clash. While Islam hasn't lost his belt, he's stepping up to take on a new challenge. Sitting near the top of the pound-for-pound rankings, he'll meet JDM, who is also one of the highest-ranked fighters in the welterweight division at Madison Square Garden. With both men bringing elite skills to the cage, the matchup feels not only exciting but also perfectly logical for fans and for the sport.
Della Maddalena versus Makhachev in the main event, champ versus champ, because nobody took the belt from Islam. He gave it up.
Factually incorrect, but I will let you crack on and we'll push that narrative because
Champs.
We've got pound for pound number 2 officially. I mean, I probably agree with this, with everything that Ilya is doing at the moment, but it is an ever moving list, isn't it? It's pound for pound number 2 versus pound for pound number 8 right now for the welterweight strap in the main event at Madison Square Garden. I think it's an absolutely fantastic fight, and there'll be people chirping up going, well, Jack Della Maddalena's only just won the title. Should this really be his first defense? What about all the other contenders? Well, who is and who are the other contenders? We can obviously make a bit of noise for Shavkat Rakhmonov.
They also responded to critics questioning whether Jack Della Maddalena should have defended his belt right away. With many top contenders sidelined by injuries or other circumstances, there was no clear challenger waiting in line. In that context, Islam stepping in to face JDM makes sense. It's a practical solution that not only gives both champions the chance to prove themselves, but also sets up one of the most highly anticipated welterweight matchups right now.
The contenders. We can obviously make a bit of noise for Shavkat Rakhmonov. But where is it?
Where is he?
Injured. Yeah, you know what I mean? If he's not available to fight and Jack Della Maddalena wants to fight, then you've got to go and find another contender. And with all due respect to the likes of the Sean Bradys of this world and everybody else, who is the person that has put the head above the parapet and said, I am the next guy? There isn't one there. So this kind of makes an awful lot of sense, because I agree with Islam Makhachev stepping up for greatness. He's just defended, I think, for the 4th time at lightweight. And there'll be people poking holes in those defenses. Because he fought a featherweight.
Finally, they emphasized Islam Makhachev's dominance at lightweight. Even when critics pointed out that some of his defenses came against featherweights, he proved himself by defeating elite names like Alexander Volkanovski. With rising stars such as Ilia Topuria emerging and the division shifting, Islam has already shown he's willing to chase bigger opportunities. His record reflects both consistency and a readiness to face the very best, which makes this clash with JDM not only deserved, but one of the most anticipated fights among fans worldwide.
Because he fought a featherweight in 2 of those. Listen, and come on, we're not talking about any featherweight, are we? We're talking about one of the best, if not the best featherweight of all time, and one of the best pound-for-pound fighters of all time in Alexander Volkanovski. Islam Makhachev took care of that. I think he's been absolutely fantastic at lightweight. Are the challenges there for him? Maybe, especially with Ilia Topuria coming up in weight. There was that challenge of the super fight that we all wanted to see. But from an Islam Makhachev point of view, he'd already done that. He'd already given the opportunity to the guy from 145 to come up and have a go with him. And he dealt with it, and now it's about him.
Furthermore, Robert Whittaker weighed in on Islam stepping up to face Jack Della Maddalena. He pointed out how past double champions have shaken up divisions and suggested this move could allow the lightweight division to move forward. Whittaker called the matchup both interesting and tricky. While admitting he leans slightly toward JDM, he kept his analysis objective and set the stage for breaking down why this fight could be so compelling for both men.
Yeah, I didn't see them doing that, but I'm all for it. Don't get me wrong, because I think double champs has really stall the division. You know what I mean? So I'm happy the lightweight division can move on again. In terms of this fight, you know,
it's interesting, isn't it, man? It's so compelling.
Yeah, very tricky. But you know what? I'm gonna go Jack. I reckon. Well, okay. Okay. Obviously, I'm going Jack.
Everyone knows we always back the Aussie. Yeah,
but when I said at that time, just then, that was objective. Okay, that was objective. Okay.
As you can be.
Because I think Jack has that X factor.
Whittaker went on to explain why he sees Jack Della Maddalena as the X factor in this matchup. He praised Jack's grit, determination, and strong ability to fight off takedowns. In a 5-round striking battle, Whittaker believes Jack holds the edge. He also noted that many people overlook Jack's grappling and jiu-jitsu skills, suggesting Islam may not find the ground game as one-sided as some expect.
I think he has the gut, the grit, the determination to fight the takedowns, to fight the ground, the takedown attacks that Islam is going to go for. And I think in a striking fight, straight up, Jack is better. I think he wins in the hands. Yeah. I think Jack's got the better game to strike over 5 rounds than Islam does as well, especially if Islam is trying to go for takedowns during the fight. I think, and this is people sleep on Jack's grappling game. They sleep on his jiu-jitsu. I don't think Islam is going to be as gun-ho with the takedowns as everybody believes, because Jack has that level of offense off his back.
Whittaker also pointed to the weight difference and how it could play a major role in the fight. With Islam moving up 15 pounds, the takedowns he usually secures at lightweight might not come as easily. Jack's size and skill could make this a far tougher challenge than expected. Whittaker even referenced their earlier pairing in the Vogue fight as an example. Overall, he suggested that Jack's mix of striking and grappling could make this one of Islam's most difficult matchups yet.
Body believes, because Jack has that level of offense off his back. There's sorry, go.
No, the biggest thing that I keep going back to is that, this isn't even a featherweight going up to a lightweight where it's a 10-pound difference. This is 15 pounds. It's the increments start to increase from this point on. And Islam has always had to cut really badly to get the lightweight. I understand that. But Jack is a big dude. I think Islam, he's going to struggle a little bit in trying to secure a lot of the takedowns that otherwise in lightweight he more easily gets.
Moving on, Daniel Cormier shared his perspective on the upcoming clash between Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena. He reflected on how perceptions of the matchup have shifted over time. Cormier explained that after seeing Jack's performance against Bilal Muhammad, the fight now appears far more competitive than it might have looked a few years ago, pointing to Jack's sharp skills and intelligent game planning. He said, "I believe that if you had put this fight together a few years ago, people would have been like, oh, Islam's gonna kill JDM, but now, after watching him fight Bilal Muhammad, after watching how wonderfully he put together a game plan, it's a much more even fight than you would have thought prior." Cormier then broke down the opening betting odds, noting that while Islam remains the favorite, the margin is a bit wider than many expected. He explained that Jack's size and recent performances could give bettors more reason to back him than usual, which only reinforces why this fight is being viewed as such a highly competitive matchup. He said, "Wow, he just said Islam's minus 265, Jack plus 225. Honestly, that's a little bigger than I would have expected." He further added, "I believe that people will probably come in on JDM because at the end of the day, Islam is still the smaller guy going up to the next weight class to fight against a world champion who never looked better than he did in his last fight." Adding to the discussion, Islam Makhachev's decision to move up in weight to face Jack Della Maddalena has everyone talking. Analyst Luke Thomas explained why this fight carries so much importance. He praised Islam's skill and consistency while also pointing out how much JDM has developed in recent years. With the right coaching and preparation, Thomas believes this matchup is not only highly competitive, but also one of the most exciting high-stakes fights fans could ask for.
The answer, they're going to the media capital of certainly the United States, arguably the world. They're going to have him, Islam Makhachev, who does not have a rightful claim to pound for pound, but only because he's been kind of inactive. I think one of the interesting parts about this bout is you might have to reconsider his place in that BC if he ends up winning up a weight class against the title, a guy who makes very few mistakes, who is extraordinarily well-rounded, who is just, you know, the excellent, to me, the standard bearer in many ways of excellence in MMA, up against a guy in JDM who not only, of course, is the champion, but so vastly improved in what he showed in that fight with Bilal Muhammad. And I know we'll talk more about this, but is going to have more time this go round with Craig Jones, who, of course, we already know has had a lot of experience getting, in particular, Australian fighters ready for Islam Makhachev. And so, BC, what would be the argument about this that you didn't like? If you're an American person and you wish there was an American, or whatever, if you're a Brazilian, you wish there was a Brazilian.
As fight night draws closer, the stakes couldn't be higher. Islam Makhachev moving up to face Jack Della Maddalena is a true test of skill, strategy, and heart. Fans can expect an intense battle where every strike, takedown attempt, and adjustment could swing the momentum. This isn't just another title fight, it's a potential legacy-defining moment for both men. The entire MMA world will be watching closely, so who do you think takes it? Will Islam's technical mastery and championship experience prevail, or will JDM's size, striking, and unpredictability be too much to handle? Drop your prediction in the comments below and tell us why.